Hello, everyone, and welcome to Weekly Wisdom and Insights. I'm your host, Dear James, and I am joined by my fabulous, incredibly talented, and amazing, because I can't say enough about her, co host, the Lady Jaclyn. And together we join forces and bring you intuitive insights and human design guidance and on your life questions and the current energies of what's taking place, what's happening with you. And we do that throughout the broadcast. So throughout the show, by all means, let us know, put a comment in that you're joining us and where you're joining us from. And then please put your questions in and we will answer them as we address the current energies and just that intuitive wisdom and human design guidance that we offer every week. Hello, Lady Jaclyn.
Hello. Oh my word, I'm so excited for today. I'm excited to hear what you have to say because we have just gone through a solstice yesterday. I
Yes.
always remember it's actually my dad's birthday, so it's quite funny because it's kind of like goes hand in hand. So I never forget this one. But it was quite a powerful experience here for us in the southern hemisphere. We had the shortest day and the longest night, I think, yeah, because it's basically we're at the midway point for us in winter, and we're kind of heading into summer, which I'm super excited about because I don't do winter. I don't know how you guys do snow, seriously, but I'm not a snow baby. Thankfully, we don't have any snow here. But yeah, like I said, I'm super excited for this week's show and to see what's happening in the energy.
I know, isn't it? It's really, when I sat down this morning and I knew it coming into it because I looked in advance of like, what's Wednesday's date numerologically, the numbers. And I was kind of smiling, going, "Oh, 6, 22, 22." And I was just kind of like internally beaming and smiling, like, And it wasn't until this morning that I sat down to really listen and look for the messages and everything. And they are power packed, action packed, and really quite incredibly poignant and beautiful. So we'll jump into that. Just to say hello to Elizabeth joining us from France and Alicia joining from Los Angeles. Welcome. We love having you all here with us every Wednesday. And again, we are taking your questions live. So as you're joining us, put your questions in and we'll just be interacting with you throughout the show. So, Jaclyn, do you want to jump off with the human
Mm-hmm.
design? Where are the gates? What's happening with the gates? Because I love this when we do this and we see, well, how is this syncing up with what the unseen is saying, with everything, with the numbers and the energies? It's
Mm-hmm.
fascinating.
It is. So with what's happening in this, yes, do you want to say
And
something?
I was just going to say before, because we need to remind everyone, we are broadcasting, simulcasting to Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn. So remember, this isn't just personal. It isn't just for the individual. It is for the business, the corporation, the entrepreneur, the governments. It's for everyone. So we can look at this in all facets for the current energies, the human design gates, and the wisdom and what the unseen is giving us. I just wanted to remind everybody that it is all encompassing. You can apply this to business, to governance, to individual lives. It's the whole enchilada, as they say.
The 360 approach.
Yes, exactly. So here we go with the current energies, human design, and intuitive insights.
Awesome, thank you. So with the human, mine's actually quite short and sweet because I didn't. There's obviously we can unpack it, but what was so beautiful is that the human design, as we know, has transits like the astrological placements of the gates in terms of where the planets are. And we know that the sun, or the gate 15 is in the sun is in gate 15. And the gate 15 is all about magnetism or being magnetic. So, kind of using your powerful energy to really manifest what it is that you want in your life. And then kind of checking in again with those thought patterns, and we spoke about this last week, and it's so fitting actually how it builds on one another. Like, we're going deeper and deeper and we're building on the story. But it with the 15, it's also about your consciousness, so kind of being aware of your mental story that you keep repeating to yourself, because that is quite literally dictating your behavior, right? So it's very important to kind of tune into how you're behaving at this point in time. If you want to make any changes, or if changes are happening for you, then it's kind of like looking at what patterns need to be released. Where do you need to reprogram again that mindset, or what are you actually clearing, letting go of? I know we spoke briefly before we actually went live, myself and DearJames, and we spoke about the fact that this is a cleansing time. It's a release time. We're in this period of release. I mean, each week we are speaking briefly about transformation, and we're touching on points of letting go and kind of releasing and reshaping and reframing. But this is literally part of the bigger picture, right? All these little pieces, if you're putting them together and you're actually looking back, we can start seeing that a picture is being formed, right? So with this gate 15 in the sun, and we're grounded in that gate 10 energy, which is all about behavior or empowerment of self, it's kind of checking in to see if you're not feeling like you're manifesting what it is that you want in your life, or you're not attracting the money that you want, or the relationship that you desire, or your business to flourish, then it starts with you, right? Because the 15 reminds us that there is a natural rhythm and natural flow, but that you are naturally magnetic, right? You don't have to try very hard. In actual fact, you should stop getting in the way of your own kind of success and abundance and happiness and fulfillment. And when I say get in the way, I mean like, that old self, that the ego self, the lack, the scarcity, the limiting beliefs, those are the things that are getting in the way. So it is really reminding us that we're all naturally magnetic, and that it is now your time to actually step into that personal power, to step into that magnetism that you are so uniquely designed for in this life, even through this human experience. Does that make sense?
You always make sense.
Yeah.
And I love the gates. I know, right? No, it's this beautiful, and the word magnetism and everything, because again, this is an interesting play on how, as above, so below. The magnetism, the reflection, the reciprocity. You're speaking to the sun being in gate 15, and how hexagram 15 in the I Ching, it's about humility and how that's playing. And we've been talking about this. And so the magnetism, the authenticity, the draw, and how we act inside, from the inside out, is what we of course bring to us. And so powerful, powerful, powerful reminders on all of this. And I was just putting in the comments for everyone, sun is in gate 15 with the human design current energies, so that everybody is seeing that. We're playing around with new ways of informing our audience and keeping you all abreast and everything of the energies and what's happening, and keeping it live and interactive with you. So again, as you're listening, please put your comments in. How are you feeling this? How is that resonating with you? Because obviously the Lady Jaclyn is often offering her expertise from the human design wisdom and guidance and everything. It's fascinating.
I want to add one more thing, if I may. So it is also about attitude. So I had to quickly look at my notes, because I was like, I'm missing something. I know I'm missing something. And it was about attitude. And I want to read just a quick sentence from actually the Gene Keys, from the Gene Key 15, basically. And it's, in short, your attitude denotes how consciousness is using your awareness at any given moment. I just want to say that again, because it's like one sentence, but it's really big. So, in short, your attitude denotes how consciousness is using your awareness at any given moment. So that really does right now speak to attitude. And it was so interesting, because just briefly, like I said before, we myself and DearJames, we catch up for like 2 to 5 minutes, depending on when we're kind of getting ready before the show. And I was mentioning how it's interesting, because at the moment there's a lot happening,
yes,
in the world, and we were talking about it constantly. Like, there's a lot happening, and you can either jump on that fear train, or you can get lost in the overwhelm and the crisis and the everything's happening and what are we going to do, the doom and gloom kind of vibes. Or you can really stand in your personal power and stand in the truth, and knowing that the plan, right, is actually unfolding exactly the way that it's supposed to, and everything will be okay. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like that attitude. What attitude are you embracing every single morning? You know, how are you waking up, or every single day? Like, how are you waking up in the morning? How are you setting the tone for the rest of your day? You know, like, and as you go through your day, and as you deal with any kind of human experience, what kind of attitude are you approaching it? What energy are you bringing? Are you bringing one of confidence, of magnetism, knowing that everything is working out for you, that you're attracting what it is that you desire in the right timing, right? It might not be your timing, but in the right timing, divine timing. So that it's something so simple, but yet there's a complexity to the conversation that can be had to remind us of what's actually happening.
It's true. And it's this piece of, again, we've said this throughout a few of the shows. The point, the way is the attitude. You're speaking to the attitude. The attitude that we are meant to have is to remember that we are the guest, not the host. The host is the way, the plan, the greater tapestry. Higher power, higher source is the host. We are the guest. And so how is it that we wake up each day, and in each given moment, how do we go through aligning with the higher plan, the greater plan, and suspend the belief that we are in control. We're solely in control. The I, the ego, the mind, the personality. Because when we do, when we suspend that and we say, okay, show me, guide me, lead me, and your soul source connection steps in, well then, we're off to the races, so to speak. And they talked about that last week, the Triple Crown, this whole thing of like this magnification of things where what we want for ourselves, or what we allow ourselves, and this is going to really tie into the quote, and what's really truly on offer, it's just two different experiences, two different journeys, two different ways. And so suspend our way, your way, for the way. Connect with the way. And this is exactly what you're speaking to, Jaclyn.
And it's so powerful. Like, literally, to put it in simpler terms of what you're saying, is literally just let go and let be. Let it be. Like, let the plan unfold, and kind of stop getting in your own way of trying to control, dictate. And it's mainly out of fear, I think, as well. It's kind of like the fear of what if, or the needing to be certain in order to be safe, right? Instead of actually leveraging the truth, which is, what does it actually mean to be safe? You know what I mean? What does it actually mean to be successful? What does it actually mean to be fulfilled? Those are the bigger kind of questions that each week we're asking, and we're reminding each of ourselves, and also reminding ourselves. Like, I'm reminding myself actually at the end of the day as well, to go, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like, that's why that's happening. Like, just remind yourself that this is what's going on.
Exactly. And keep surrendering, which is allowing. Keep allowing. Keep making peace with it. Get more comfortable with it, because eventually you will come to, it's just second nature, and you're like, okay. I promise people that singular word, no matter whether it's you spell it okay or O-K-A-Y, no matter how you spell it or how you say it, it will become your favorite word when you surrender, allow, open up, and go with the flow of the soul source connection. It's going to be your favorite funny word, because it'll, you want me to do what? Okay. I mean, it can be said in so many different ways with so many different inflections, and it's going to become your favorite word. All right, so let's jump in, and just hello. Elizabeth is making a comment, so we're going to come to that, and then Jennifer is joining us from France. So let's go into, I just really want to jump in. I'm using your term, it's juicy. The energies today, the Lady Jaclyn, are juicy. So they are, they're big. And we've been building. So everybody that's been watching and following and listening, you'll note a tapestry, a crescendo, an expansion of the tapestry happening. As the unseen and the human design guides us and shows us, you'll see the commonality of that in the overall tapestry. So today being June 22nd, 2022. So 6/22/22. So right off the bat, We have double sixes, which we have all this month in the month of June, because it's a 6 month and it's a 6 year. The day and the year, when we do it like that, double 22s. We have these doubles. And then it kept popping in this 22 and 22 master numbers. You don't typically add them, but double 22s, 44. So there's this very strong energy about doubles. And the Lady Jaclyn and I have talked about a lot of times these double numbers. You'll see them 12, 12, 11, 11, all these different things. And so right off the bat, the first thing they said to me was prosperity, abundance. And they underlined the word dance within the word abundance. And when we say, we often hear dance like nobody's watching, which is enthusiasm. It's this thing of prosperity, abundance, dance, enthusiasm, invigorate yourselves. It's a reminder to do things that bring us levity and joy and lightness, because otherwise we're getting bogged down in the heaviness of things. And then I heard double rainbows, and I'm going to post a photo of a double rainbow that was right outside the back door just a week ago that really captivated me. So I'll post that in the thread. And then 22 being the most powerful master number. And the double sixes. So there's this doubling down and this doubling down effect, because double sixes is about conflict or destiny. Are you in conflict or are you in destiny? Are you moving with destiny? And one, yes, can say that whether you're in conflict or you're in flow, you're experiencing your destiny. However, the arc of destiny is forward. And so they're wanting you to see, and they've been giving us this theme for some time now, you choose, it's free will. We choose, are we in conflict or are we flowing? Are we dancing? Are we light, moving with the light, towards the light, and so forth? So there's a doubling down effect. And you can see this in our world affairs. If you look at things, you'll see how people are doubling down on something, being fixed and rooted in something. They're doubling down on it. So there's an opportunity to not do that. Then we had, as the Lady Jaclyn said at the top of the show, the summer solstice. That was just yesterday. And the energies of the summer solstice are going to play out. It's kind of this 3-month arc. So we're going to have this arc of energy and experiences playing out over the next 90 days. So you can see what they're talking about is this energy, this 6/22/22, these double master number 22, double sixes, the 44, these numbers, the double rainbows, the prosperity and abundance. This is the arc forward. This is going to be this, they're saying, this magical moment. And then the last thing that they brought together was number 4 was renewal. And they said renewal at last, at long last. And I've got that, the famous song, Etta James, I believe, At Last. That beautiful, beautiful song. It's at last my love has come along. Well, it's like at long last, renewal is at hand. There's this beauty about that. And so jumping in, Hexagram 22 speaks to grace, beauty, and adornment. However, it's from the inside out. We often look at grace and beauty and adornment from an external, perspective. The clothes, the car, the house, the job, the labels, the titles. Hexagram 22 is about internal beauty, internal adornment, internal grace. And how that then, as the Lady Jaclyn was saying, gate 15, the magnetization, how that magnifies and magnetizes because you're feeling it and experiencing it from the inside out. 44, Hexagram 44 is about liaison, coupling, and coming to meet. And this is where this just gets so powerful and juicy and good. So 44, Hexagram 44 represents the arrival of an uncontrollable, unpredictable, great force. It's also known as the powerful woman. And it says we are not to couple with the powerful woman, meaning we are not the hexagram, the powerful woman, this hexagram 44, this coupling is not to be captured or tamed or enslaved, but rather to be experienced openly, fluidly, and freely, so as to be transformed forever. So when you think of this powerful woman, I want you to imagine the divine feminine, the great mother, as she is arriving, she is returning, she's coming back to us, full force, full power, full regalia. And then juxtapose, and that force, that energy, is not to be tamed, it's not to be enslaved, it's not to be captured, it's not to be genie in the bottle, but it's meant to permeate, to receive, to experience it in its fullness, its full creative power. Now juxtapose that against our known history and our known experience of that energy and how it has been tamed, captured, enslaved, denigrated, hidden, persecuted. So the promise of what's happening, because they gave me the final piece of this, which was really amazing, and it's the overall theme of the energies, and it said, and it's Matthew 7:7. So again, another double number. Mic drop, can't make it up. I'm like, seriously, really? It's another double number? And it has to do with seek and ye shall find. And I just want to go to it quickly to say, it says literally, the biblical verse says, do not give dogs what is holy. Do not throw your pearls before swine. If you do, they may trample them under their feet and then turn and tear you to pieces. And you can see how this is playing out, this turning and doubling down and tearing to pieces, as opposed to flowing with, receiving openly, freely, this energy, this return. And the fear of it, as opposed, and there's a split camp, so to speak. There are those that fear and those that are embracing. And then they said, and this is where it comes from, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives. He who seeks finds. And to them who knocks, him who knocks, the door will be opened. And literally, from a biblical stance, it means seek the higher power and you're going to be heard. Your prayers will be answered. In a more general, literal term, it means effort will be rewarded. And so it means effort will be rewarded. Deliverance. That when we seek this and when we allow this energy to come through us, to move us, to inspire us, to fortify us, to change us, mutable, because it's not to be captured. It's not to be contained. It's to be embodied. It's to permeate. And that, like the Lady Jaclyn was saying, that the way, going with the flow, when that energy force moves you, moves through you, limitless, double prosperity, abundance, double rainbows. And I'm going to cap off before we go back to this last piece, this beautiful, it's a quote by Emerson, which speaks to exactly what you were speaking about, the Lady Jaclyn. Said, most of the shadows of this life are caused by standing in one's own sunshine. It's the beauty of most of the shadows of this life are caused by standing in one's own sunshine. Our attitude, our thoughts, our beliefs, our fears standing in our own, obstructing our own sunshine. So powerful, powerful, powerful message today of what's on offer, what's on tap, and where we're going, truly.
Mm-hmm. There's also like a undertone or a theme of manifestation as well. Do you notice that?
Yes,
It's
this is
like it's
the creative force.
100%, right? And the magnetism, like being magnetic, and the natural law of the law of attraction, right? Which is like this. It's like the simplest experience, but yet when you're actually sitting down and trying to manifest something, the key word there when I use the sentence is trying, is the problem, actually, because it's not about trying. It's about exactly like what you're saying, which is releasing and being in the flow,
allowing,
and letting go and allowing 100%. You know, it was so interesting though, because when you were speaking about the energies, what's so beautiful is Unlock Your Design. They have explanations on gene keys, which is also the correlates with the human design gates. And the gate 15, they call, or she actually calls, the wild woman. So when you were speaking about the powerful woman, I was like having giggles. I was like, oh my gosh, how do you we can't make this stuff up. So she actually says, yeah, so she's got a nice, beautiful blog, and she calls the gate 15 or gene key 15 the wild woman. It's all about magnetism, openness, and flow. And her first line literally states, the wild woman has a powerful, multifaceted energy. She is inherently magnetic and pulls people into her own natural flow, which she adjusts and adapts to changing circumstances. So it's really beautiful how I mean, not literally, we can't make this stuff up. Every week we say that, and I'm still bowled over about all the synchronicities and the connections. But in a nutshell, it is quite literally like I've mentioned this before, but when you're awake, you can't go back to sleep again, right? So when you've experienced this all, when you're actually stepping into the awareness, the consciousness, the higher states of being, you can't undo it. You're just basically building onto it. So it's not like it goes away. It's just, if things are coming up, like I've experienced that as well. When think about the theme of manifestation, right? How many times have you manifested something that you don't really have significant attachment to? So say, for example, like a parking space. Like I always joke, and my mom always jokes with us, we call it parking angels, and we kind of speak to the parking angels. We're like, okay, we want a parking right in the front, please, parking angels, thanks. And then like literally 2 seconds later, there'll be a parking right in the front. And it's so interesting because it's as simple as that. So whatever you're trying to manifest or whatever you're trying to attract into your life, it's literally as simple as that. And everything that we're mentioning now is exactly why the reason it's not happening. Because like your beautiful quote says, like you're standing in your own way, or you're holding too much attachment to it. So therefore there's expectations. Therefore you're trying to control it, where you're not standing in that power of effortlessness, of surrender, of trust, of reciprocity. So it's really beautiful. It's a beautiful, powerful, but yet simple message this week, I think.
Yes, and they're reminding me again to, they're saying, harness the power within. And this is to realize whether you believe the unseen or not, and divine time and our time and all of these nuances, the clear message is the return. And we began this about the divine feminine, the return of the divine feminine in 2022 and beyond. It's just popping in. And so whether you believe it or not, and no matter what the chaos, the storm looks like, what's non-negotiable, what's matter of fact, fait accompli, matter of fact, is the return of the divine feminine, this powerful woman, this magnetic woman. And what's so interesting about it, and the fact is, and this message of we are not to harness this energy in a way that we try to control it, encapsulate it, minimize it, all of these things. That story's been done. This is the release. This is literally the genie coming out of the bottle. She has been encapsulated, enslaved, held down. And this doesn't speak just to the feminine, the female audience, the feminine. This speaks to the feminine in all of us. Divine masculine, divine feminine. It is so for the men listening, for everyone, transgender, everybody, male, female, whatever. The point is the divine feminine, the cap, the top is being popped off the genie bottle. She's returning, and there's a very powerful message. And with that comes all of this prosperity, abundance, this double rainbows, this arc of opportunity. Be mindful, remember to allow it to flow with you and through you, not to try and use it in a way to empower you, not in a shadow masculine power grab, power way. That is the old story, and it's Elvis has left the building. It's gone. It's going. So no matter what it looks like, here's what's on tap. And that is a really powerful, powerful message. Because they talk about also, I'm going to jump into this really quickly. And then we're going to go to Elizabeth's question and her statement and everything. And because they talk about the shadow. So the shadow side of this powerful woman, this magnetic woman, this energy, which is why they say not to cut hexagram 44, not to couple with it. It's not to last in that way, because it's the liaison, it's the temptress, right? And so, of course, when you're coming from a shadow aspect and a shadow attitude, and you're coming from this place of control, manipulation, control, well, she's the dalliance that you thought you were going to be able to, tame and overpower and everything. And yet she does a number on you because you didn't utilize her energy in a proper manner, in a pure form. And so Carrie Hone of Cafe au Sol, she speaks to this in the sense of, she said, hexagram 44, this coming to meet, this encounter. There is no other hexagram with so much controversy surrounding it. The only consensus is the intensity of feeling inherent in it. The powerful feminine energy of rebirth, and they talked about renewal, rebirth, is at play because of the single yin line emerging at the bottom of many yang lines. Yin is feminine, yang is masculine. Some see it as the emperor's first wife's child who becomes the heir. Gu can be important in creative readings as suggested by the hidden influence of the creative. Others define it as a temptress who may lead a person astray. If we look deeper into the transformative power of the entire I Ching, we find room for all images. As the shadow or anima in a man's dream, the trickster temptress is actually allowing a breakthrough of his feeling nature. For a woman, the shadow shows her own power may need to be resurrected after being forced underground because it was misunderstood or thought to be bad. The underlying cause of return may have caused the present to be overlaid with unacknowledged images of the past. Return relates to what is going on inside you, inside, and you may be judging a situation subjectively when you should be rather looking at it objectively. Therefore, Gu, G-O-U, Gu, can symbolize any type of encounter that leads to shadow transformation and putting misunderstandings under the proper light. This may be why Kung Fu Zhu said, when meeting contention in another, it would be wise to examine oneself. The shadow is always portraying the opposite of what we believe about ourselves. Just as hate is the shadow of love and fear the shadow of trust, something is on the horizon that will teach you a great deal about transforming difficulty into meaning. Look at the things you want to judge harshly or that you avoid because they can teach you much about your shadow coming to meet shows an unavoidable encounter where opposites fund powerful creative growth, just like an heir depicted in a royal marriage. So there's this beauty. You can see this whole arc of this energy that's here, that's present, that is now arriving, this rebirth, this renewal. Again, how are you doubling down? Are you doubling down in conflict, in control, and trying to keep the genie in the bottle? Or are you embodying and embracing the opportunity for this regenerative renewal of the divine feminine, the creative force, this receptive force, and how she will lead you, how she will nurture you, how she will expand and enliven you? Dance. Woo!
My drop, we're done.
I'm like, I'll have what is that, Harry and Sally, or Harry? I'll have what she's having. I'm like,
Yeah. Sign me up.
Yeah.
But it is true. Like,
that.
I want to remind everyone that it is, like you said it beautifully, and it was a beautiful reminder, that it isn't a gender energy. It's not based on gender, you know, like it is I want to say it is, like
It's
you said
divine.
beautifully, it's what's on offer. You know what I mean? It's literally getting in touch with the truth of who we actually are. And there's another part of us, no matter our gender, where we have this beautiful, big, powerful, magnetic energy that is so, like, it's so creative and juicy, that it's not about controlling, that it's not about force, that it's not about, you know, like being boxed in. It's quite literally about flow, about magnetism, about creativity and oneness. And it's just, and so if you look at it from a standpoint of, yes, that's the truth of what, you know, the feminine energy is, but if you really just look at it as this beautiful energy that you have access to, and it's not just at this time, it's always, right? That's just another reminder. It's always there, readily available. And you've got to have access, like, or you've got to embrace it, you've got to embody it, you've got to step into it in order to truly become the magnetic human that you were designed to be. Because each and every single one of us, each and every single one of you listening, was designed to be bold and powerful and courageous, but I want to say and in a way that is not that controlling or that forceful or that in your face. It's this natural, just like essence of beauty. You know what I mean? And it's not a gender thing, but it's so vital when it comes to manifestation. And that's, I think, where a lot of people, and I know I speak from experience, because that has been one of my lessons in this life, actually, is to truly embody this beautiful feminine energy that is so needed, or it's so important when you are wanting to manifest in this life, when you're wanting to be a co-creator. You can't create from a space of control or distrust or lack or limitation or unworthiness, right? And when you look at this beautiful, powerful energy, none of that, it like kind of shatters all of that.
Mm-hmm. You know, and it's absolutely, and it brings us into that reminder, because they brought in, Jaclyn, this piece of, in one of the just recently in one of the most recent shows, they said, you know, don't be late to the party. And so here we are looking at the summer solstice, this 90-day window, if you will. And yes, the energies continue on. This is the new. However, here's like the beginning of the party. Here's where the party starts. And they're saying to everyone, they're reminding everyone, we have a choice, free will. Which are you choosing? Conflict, destiny. Abundance, flow, this go with the flow, embrace and embody this powerful woman, this divine, the matriarch of all matriarchs, the divine mother. Are you embracing her? Are you showing up at the party? Because again, they're reminding us, those that are in attendance at the very beginning have a bond. They receive an experience that those that show up late will never have, because they didn't show up. They were late to the party. And so, and again, it doesn't matter whether you're an individual, a company, a government, a business, an entrepreneur, Doesn't matter. If you're late to the party, you're late to the party. And if you're on time, if you're embracing and on time with the party arrival, you're going to receive that benefit. It's like they're giving me, when you go to any, I did a lot of special event production in my life, and you always had what they call goodie bags. And so, and of course, when if you're doing a really great event and whatever, when you do that, you have really great stuff in the goodie bags, and everybody wants one. Even down, the Oscars, the celebrities want the goodie bag. You don't want to be the person, the entity, the government, whatever. You don't want to be the entity that didn't get the goodie bag. It's just that kind of literal and simple. And so, Jaclyn, let's jump into Elizabeth to her statement. She says, the changes I have set into action are arriving this week. It's super exciting and I'm feeling calm and at peace. Everyone is either excited for me or worried, but now that I have set my boundaries, it doesn't bother me what other people feel. My changed attitude is helping me see where others' fears affect their reaction. I'm feeling super proud of myself. I want to give her like that.
Yeah. I was going to say, I'm going to give it a round of applause.
Ask, yes, and again, I'll have what she's having. Empowerment, setting healthy boundaries, seeing through the surface to see that other people's reactions may be their fears, that it's triggering them. It may be triggering them because they want to do what you're doing. They want to have that, the intent, the experience and the intention, the feeling of doing it, and they're afraid. So feeling super proud of yourself, yes. That's just super awesome and beautiful, and a beautiful reminder for everybody. It encapsulates this energy.
Absolutely. So what is so beautiful is this journal prompt that I actually found and I saved, and I'm gonna share it on the inside of our group on Facebook as well. It's from Girl and Her Moon. So she's given us some journal prompts, and it's so beautiful because, like you said, the solstice yesterday is setting the tone for the next couple of months. But as we know, like my energy, I'm all about to understand where we're going. I have to look back, right? I have the gate 42. So for me, it's kind of like, it's so beautiful to have the reflective kind of experience when you're journaling, so that you can actually, I almost want to say, when you're feeling disconnected, your brain or your mind plays tricks on you and kind of tells you a story that's actually untrue. And you're kind of having to journal and get present in the moment to actually figure out what is the reality and what is actually the bigger picture. So I want to give you a few of the questions, and like I said, I'm going to screenshot it. I'm going to post it on the inside of our group on Facebook. But she basically says, 6 months ago, the December solstice beckoned us inward, right? So what happened in the last 6 months that deserves being celebrated? And yeah, we can see Elizabeth. I mean, it didn't even have to happen 6 months ago. It could have happened this past week. And that was a beautiful opportunity to celebrate that, setting boundaries. So journal, what is worth being celebrated that you have noticed over the last 6 months? What have you experienced, and what dreams have come true, right? No matter how small, it doesn't matter, because all of the small pieces build a bigger puzzle. And then how have you changed or grown, transformed during this time? And then how can I celebrate who I have become? I think that is so, so important, because I know I speak from my personal experiences. Sometimes we're so ambitious and we're so focused on the future, we forget about the present moment, but also most importantly, we forget to celebrate ourselves. We forget to celebrate the milestones, the journey, the small wins, but it's not actually small wins, they're all big wins, So it's really setting the tone to celebrate yourself. Maybe take a bath. Like, I love taking a bath. I'm one of those people, I love taking a bath. I know there's a lot of people out there that hate taking baths, but I'm not one of them. I love taking a bath, and I hadn't done it in so long. And over the last week, I was like, I really, why have I not taken a bath? I have this big, beautiful bath that I'm not taking a bath in. Like, why am I doing that stuff? And honestly, pretty much 90% of the time, I've been taking baths now at night, and it's so beautiful because it's actually a time for me to, I've realized it's my way of celebrating myself, like, and nurturing myself and loving myself. And I put some beautiful essence in there, and I play some beautiful music, and I light some candles. And it's something so simple, but yet that's a celebratory like ritual that I've realized that makes me feel good. And it's only when I've done it do I actually have that experience of going, oh wow, like this really actually feels good, like this is something I'm actually doing for myself. So this is also a beautiful reminder for everybody at this point in time to know that it's okay to celebrate, and kind of like this is your reminder that everything that you think is small is worth the celebration. It's kind of like, you know, pour yourself a glass of champagne, or like take yourself out to dinner to celebrate a win, you know what I mean, in whatever shape or form that looks like, because that is you arriving at the party, and that's you not being late, you know what I mean.
And
That's
as I
kind of
said,
like what it looks practically.
yes, yes, exactly. And dance, remember, the word dance is incorporated into the word abundance. And they were drawing attention to that. So celebration, the bath, the taking yourself out to dinner, whatever, or just simply dance, music, the upliftment of that. And to do it, and that we celebrate, because it shifts energy, and it shifts it cosmically, individually and cosmically. And so that's again on tap. And there's something I just want to go back to, Elizabeth, because they were saying, in this moment where you've set into action and it's arriving this week and you're super excited and everything, all of that, of course, took your intention, your effort, your will, and they're wanting you to remember. So, and I'm smiling as I'm saying this. So for those listening and not watching, I'm smiling as I'm saying this because the message for you, Elizabeth, which is true for everyone, but they're giving this to you specifically, is also to keep remembering this energy is expansive. It's renewal. So be incredibly open to how this unfolds for you, how it comes, how it expands, how it may take a turn you didn't expect, and to keep walking with that same faith and trust and willingness, this effervescence to go where it guides you. Because again, there was a message in this that said it may not show up the way we believe. And that again is the higher source, the plan saying, perfect. Okay, she stepped onto the runway. Here we are. Now, oh, you thought you were going here? Oh, we've got something far more for you. You're going actually over here. So don't stand in your own sunshine, as it says. Don't block your own sunshine. See where it takes you, and allow that to really permeate that. She's saying, I get that. It is already changing. There we go. And that's why, because you've now stepped into you've magnetized, as the Lady Jaclyn was speaking to, you've magnetized, you're in alignment, you're allowing. Now the real expansion and the unexpected. Remember, it represents the arrival of an uncontrollable, unpredictable, great force. Flow with that force and go where it guides you. It's amazing.
That's beautiful. And it's not just for Elizabeth. I think it's a message for everybody.
Exactly. It is.
It's so like poignant. It's like synchronization at its best. Synchronicity.
Yes, there's a beautiful transformation occurring, is what they're saying, and we need only allow it. We need only embody, embrace it, show up. We talk about the golden ticket all the time. We're on the train, we've got the golden ticket. We're at the party, we're ready, we're here. And so, don't limit or block yourself by saying it should have and I need it to and da da da. No. Those are all limitations, restrictions, blockages. Go to the party. Arrive at the party. And I just, there's one of our listeners, Alicia, This is coming in for you, so I'm going to deliver it because it serves a purpose for everyone. There's this beauty of Alicia and I have known each other many years. We did special event production together and so forth. And we'd be working and so forth. And Alicia would always arrive at the party done, dressed, transformed, if you will. She'd always have a beautiful scarf and so forth. That's your message, is to remember that energy, that beauty, and that you showed up at the party, and to be there, to be present. You're present and accounted for is what they're saying. So I just wanted to deliver that message to her. Apologies that it was unsolicited, but they gave it to me, so I'm giving it to you.
Well, no, it wasn't unsolicited. So this is the beauty: is you're following your design with the response, right? It's like you're responding to what the universe, and energetically, you felt like this was the right time for you to actually to deliver it. And it wasn't even just for Alicia. I resonated with it. For me, it was like, oh, yeah, you're speaking to my soul. I'm getting it. So that's why I say, like, it's so beautiful how when you hold space, sometimes it's not just directed at, it's like we're all together on this path, even though we're individually journeying along in a very different way. It's all part of a bigger picture and bigger plan, and there's such beautiful harmony, that happens and that is happening. So yeah, and Alicia says thank you, and lol at your last comment.
Yes, well, because I am always mindful about, has someone asked, is it, and yet they were really just pressing me. So I do as I'm guided. What is it asked? It's not about asking for permission, but forgiveness if you need it. So in the purity and innocence of what was delivered. So, and Brigitte is, yes. So here's Brigitte. Why don't you do hers, Jaclyn?
So she just has a comment. She says, this has been a wild couple of years, and honestly, by not giving in to fear and letting in the flow, my son has been able to move forward and moving next week. The flowers blooming after 3 years. Divine timing.
Divine timing, advance.
That's so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Brigitte.
Yes, absolutely. And look at how that allows everyone to flower and bloom.
Absolutely.
That's a really...
We all are.
Again,
we're all at the party with the golden ticket on the plane, on the train.
I know. It's like this beautiful banquet. It really is. That's the way it keeps coming to me, is for those who may or may not know, the anti-mame, Rosalind Russell anti-mame, and there's a famous line in the movie where she says, life is a banquet and most poor suckers are starving to death. And you can equate that line to, are you at the banquet? Are you at the party? Are you embracing and arriving and moving forward? Or are you stuck? Are you doubling down in a way, in an era that is gone, leaving us? And thereby, there's no need, I'm not labeling people suckers I'm just using the analogy, but there's no need to starve. Because life is a banquet, and here is this banquet. Here's the party. Here it is. And I know what it looks like. And the Lady Jaclyn and I are not naive, and we are not in some encased bubble that we don't see what's going on in the world. We do. It's just it's the roar. They're saying to me, it's like the roar of the dragon or the serpent's head before it's defeated. So, again, what do you want your experiences to be?
What's your attitude?
Right. What's your attitude?
That is my final question for the hour. It's kind of like an invitation to remind you to check in with your attitude, because that's the one thing you can control, is the way you respond to everything that's happening to you, for you, around you, within you. That's the biggest energy right now. That was a theme that really came across for me as well. It's that attitude, the consciousness that's shaping your behavior. And then it's also, are you stepping into your magnetism, or are you kind of being the shadow that's kind of dimming your light? Because you're designed to shine bright.
And should you be experiencing kind of a yin yang type of thing, a yo-yo effect, the way through is simply go back to your center. What's at your center? And when we speak to that about character, it's the Russian nesting dolls. There's many layers and facets to ourselves. But ultimately, when all is said and done, is your attitude, is your center one of hope and faith and trust and goodness and optimism and opportunity and enthusiasm? Should that be the case, go to your center and allow that to lead you and guide you and envelop you and allow it to unfold you. And should you find that it's not that, it's the shadow, then that is purposeful too. It's just a different experience and a different, it's not one I think we would wish for anyone, because it need not be that. However, if that's what the soul wants, okay, then allow the soul their journey. Because, you know, the arc of destiny is forward.
Yes.
And perhaps perhaps we will leave it with that. The arc of destiny is forward.
There's always forward momentum, definitely 110%. Dear James, it was fabulous. Thank you for holding space with me, and thank you for every single one of you for joining us as always. It is such a treat. Do you want to end off with something?
Yes, that we, so tomorrow we are doing the Science and the Soul show tomorrow, Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, 5 p.m. Central European. So join us for that. It's about soul contracts and this whole piece about relationships, whether it be platonic and personal or romantic or professional and so forth, and addressing the issues of, is it for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, and how that all plays out and encapsulates this. So as always, thank you all. We hope you'll join us tomorrow as well for that on Science and the Soul. And the Lady Jaclyn, always an honor and a privilege. And the same for all of you. Thank you so much for joining us and being on this journey with us. And because your comments, your questions, they're always so beautiful, on point, timely, and they really expand the show and what we do and everything, because it's the beauty of the collective, harnessing the power of the collective in the most beautiful way. So thank you all for that. Talking with my hands, you can see my enthusiasm. And we'll leave you with that. We'll be back tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye, everyone.